soft versus hard magic. Everybody's talking about it, debating this tool to help creation of whatever magic they're going to put into their world. Kind of confused people. People kind of got carried away with defining of hard and soft.
There's good places to start off. It's as simple as it sounds. Soft, it has softer rules. Hard has more rigid rules, more defined outlines, so to speak.
What people think of soft magic, the go-to, as always, is Lord of the Rings. There's a lot more examples for hard magic system. Brandon Sanderson's work, where it's almost not even magic at that point. The biggest difference between them is just how much is explained.
I think a great example would be like Full Metal Alchemist. That's a pretty hard magic system, right? You know what it's going to do. 1 + 1 = 2, equivalent exchange. From the outside perspective, when you're first starting off, it would look like magic systems become more scientific the harder they are. And the softer they are, it's almost like more whimsy. Traditional fairy tale magic, it tends to be softer. No explanation needed.
So hard magic allows for possibly easier stakes in your story rating. Since you know how things are going to react, you kind of have the entire armory of know-hows of how this magic is going to work and everything like that. So you know how crucial a point can be because of what magic could be used at a certain point, where softer systems, because it's not really explained as much, allows lazy writers an opportunity to kind of write in things and as an excuse. That's why people say they prefer a harder magic system, because it prevents writers from taking shortcuts like that. Tolkien was an expert of not doing that. He allows a lot to be in the mystery. The magic users in that are very much side characters. We only get to see the magic from the perspective of a non-magic user, essentially. That allows there to be that kind of mystery. The magic used in Lord of the Rings is not very powerful compared to a lot of other magic systems. And that's another way they're able to get away with a softer magic system and keep its stakes.
A fireball coming out of nowhere to affect this current situation is still meaningful in Lord of the Rings, which is fascinating, because you get a lot of modern high fantasy settings where it's like, they're casting fireballs willy-nilly and it really doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, the world is still medieval. Nobody's harnessed the power of these fireballs and created like a super combustion engine with no byproducts, because you don't have to burn fossil fuels, you just like cast fireball spells. But I digress. I think this is why it's important for soft magic writers to not fall into the trap of inventing things, because this is just a common critique of fantasy as a whole and even sci-fi. Why don't you just invent a solution? And like, while that is part of what happens in a story, any story really, because you could just have two lovers, why don't they just fall in love? Well, okay, then the romantasy story ends. It's pretty lame when a hole in the plot is just instantly filled like that. And I think this is why modern fantasy writers kind of drift further and further into the hard magic side of things and get caught up in world building. There's worse problems to have.